Now it's time for the non-hand call portion of the show. Ali, is that your name, sir? You're up next.
Hey, good afternoon, Bart. How are you?
How's it going, Ali? So, Ali, where are you playing out of?
Live in Maryland.
All right,
Maryland Live.
So Maryland Live, I have definitely played there a few times. And what is the size of the game?
1-3.
So 1-3 at Maryland Live. What is that, a 500 cap or what?
400.
400 cap.
We keep asking them to move it up to 500, but they have other ideas.
they have other ideas?
Yeah.
So if I remember this one correctly, let me just look back here. Okay, yes, I am gonna put this one up because I think it's better for visual. All right, so
Sure.
Okay, so tell us how deep you are and all that jazz.
I am roughly about $500 deep.
All right, so 500 effective. Yep.
Yes. The main villain, she has roughly about 325.
Okay.
And the reason I say roughly is because we actually never knew how much she had because of what had inspired in the hand. So once we get there, it'll make sense.
Okay.
And I'm in +1. And the way that the table is set up is that I'm actually on seed number 1. My villain, she's on seat number 3.
Okay.
And she's in hijack.
Okay. So hero's in +1 in seat 1, which of course is to the left of the dealer. Villain is in seat 3. Okay. Yep.
Yes. However, the main antagonist in this ordeal, she's in seat 5. I have 8 of diamond, 10 of diamond, and this is a very splashy game. So under the gun limps, and I open at 15, and that's usually my normal sizing.
Wow, open to 15 over the top of a limp. Okay, well, this is a non-hand call. I would just, I'll just say that even if it's the best game in the world, it's probably not a profitable play with a gap-suited connector from up front in a 9-handed game. We all know that. But okay, so you go to 15. Yep.
100%, yes. And this is 3 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, absolutely. Hijack, she calls, and under the gun calls.
All
so they both call.
So hijack calls, and the under the gun calls. So am I right to say that the second antagonist or the primary antagonist is actually not even in the hand, right?
Correct.
Right?
Yes. Correct.
Okay. All right. So let's go to the flop here.
9 of diamond, jack of diamond, 5 of heart.
9 of diamonds, jack of diamond, 5 of hearts. And hero has 10-8 of diamonds. Well, that's a pretty good flop.
It absolutely is. And under the gun actually donks for $25.
Okay.
And I am not just flatting here. I actually raised to 75, and my goal is for me to basically blow the pot as much as possible. So once I make nuts, I can go for max value.
So you raise to 75 with your open-ended straight draw, flush draw. Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
And the hijack flats 75.
Okay.
So she just calls.
Okay.
And under the gun folds.
All right. So you're heads up with this lady. Under the gun folds. All right. So now we're right around 200. It'll call. Actually, yeah, it's probably right like 220 or something like that. And we move to the turn. It is
the 8 of heart.
The 8 of hearts. Hero makes a pair. He's got 10-8 of diamonds, open-ended straight draw, flush draw. Now the 8 of hearts comes out, so it's jack 9-8 5 with front door diamonds. Hero with 10-8 of diamonds, open-ended straight flush draw, and a pair. Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna go ahead and continue with 150. So
you're basically almost just committing her for the most part, right?
Pretty much. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
And she basically goes all in. Mm-hmm. I snap call without even thinking twice. I could. Yeah, exactly. I could ballpark. She had less than 100 left.
Yep.
But I went on the snap call. So this is where everything kind of goes off the rail.
Okay.
So when I call, I have a tendency to basically just kind of table my hand, for transparency reasons, because I have such a strong hand on the turn. So I basically table my hand, and the dealer just goes in and puts the river out, and the river is a 5 of diamond. So I completely bricked out at that point.
Well, not the 5 of diamonds, because it would have made you a flush, right?
I'm sorry, excuse me, five of spades. My apologies.
5 of spades. All right, so you missed. Yes. Oh, you have a pair of 8s, but you missed your draw.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so in this case, but my hand is still open.
Yeah, you tabled it. You got a pair of 8s. You beat the nut flush draw. You beat the nut flush draw. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. So at this point, she basically puts her cards face down in the middle of the table. Mm-hmm. Hasn't hit the muck yet, and she continues to say that no, he's good, he beats me, he's got me.
Yep.
And I'm kind of shocked, but I'm not saying anything.
I mean, yes, I mean that's a good point. You shouldn't say anything because she might be misreading her hand, but it's not shocking. It's not the most shocking thing in the world that you might actually have the best hand here if she's got like ace queen of diamonds or something. You're
absolutely right about that.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
And so dealer being knew, I believe. He took her words for it, and he starts to stack her chips and my chips. The entire pile of chips are now basically moving towards my chair.
Now, I want to say something here, too.
Yes.
And I don't know, because did we talk about where this was played out of? Where was this played out of?
Maryland Live.
Oh, yes, we did. Maryland Live. So Maryland Live's been around for a long time. My understanding of the way that dealers are supposed to handle a situation like this at first, when they're being taught as dealers what to do, if your opponent, that lady, is mucking her hand and giving up her hand, the first thing the dealer should do is take her cards and put them in the muck and kill the hand.
Correct.
That is what she should do, not fiddle around with the chips. But here, what you're saying is that the cards they're not mucked, right?
No, they're not.
Okay, yep.
And so when he's doing that, the antagonist turns around and say, "Are you sure you can't beat that?" All he has is a pair of eights. And the villain looks at the board and she says, no, he has a straight. And the antagonist says, no, he doesn't have a straight. You're really sure you just can't beat a pair of eights?
Okay.
So at this point, the entire table stops. They can't believe what is happening.
So this chick says, you can't beat that, or you can beat that, right? She says, you can. He only has a pair of eights. Exactly. And then the person in the hand was like, well, yeah, he can. He's got a straight. No, he doesn't have a straight. But her cards are just sitting there, right? They haven't been mucked.
You're absolutely right. Yes. At that point, she says, well, wait, you're right. He doesn't have a straight. And she flips her hand over and she has a pair of jacks.
Yeah.
And now everything stops.
Yeah, that is. So here's the thing. Before you tell me what happened, I think her hand is live, and it's just really bad etiquette from. And I've talked about this many times. Again, so the biggest mistake that's made here is by the dealer. It's the dealer's fault. It is the dealer's fault. That hand should have been in the muck. And I learned this very, very quickly because I hopped into some of the biggest limit split pot games that were going like in the world, like very early on in my career, like 75, 150, like at Commerce way back in the day. So I was playing with these grizzly farts that had been playing professional poker for years, dozens of years. And one of the things I quickly learned was they would really get on the dealers if the dealers didn't muck somebody's hand. When the person wanted to muck their hand, the first thing the dealer should do is muck the hand. The dealer didn't muck her hand. So The hand's not in the muck. It's not even touching the muck. It's just sitting there. It's not dead. It should be dead. The dealer didn't do his job. The dealer didn't do his job. And it's none of the antagonist's business to call out what she had. It's very, very poor etiquette. But here's the thing, Ali. I don't know. I mean, you probably play recreationally because it's, you're playing in a low stakes game. There isn't a whole lot that you can do about it. As a professional, this has happened to me before.
Yep.
What am I going to say to the antagonist? She probably just doesn't know any better that she's not supposed to say something, unless there is some reason or you have some backstory with this lady where she's trying to get you. But
actually, well, no. But I do know that she does play regularly, and she does. The way that she handles her chips tells me that she's a thinking player. So,
well, at least she's experienced. Well, so do you think that she was going after you personally? Like that she wouldn't have said something if this lady had lost to somebody else at the table?
I don't know, to be honest with you, but it just sounded malice to me, what she did. I think maybe I'm overthinking this.
Well, you say maybe you're overthinking this. I mean, we all get like really heated up in the moment, and I can understand why you might get angry at that person. It's in very, very poor etiquette. You have a right to be angry at that person, whether it was her intention or not. It would be really scummy if it was her intention. But even if it was, though, you don't have any recourse, really.
I don't.
I don't even know how against the rules it is. Like, we always talk about this, that you got to table your hand, and you're not supposed to tell someone what they have if they're not having their table hand, if their hand is not tabled. If they're holding their hand up, it is their responsibility to table their hand. Now, once they table their hand, I'm very, very staunch the other way. It's your responsibility to actually speak up at the table when you're not involved with the hand if the dealer is misreading the hands once the hand is tabled. But when the hand is not tabled, you're not supposed to say anything.
I agree.
With that being said, though, I don't even know if it's technically against the rules to do what she did. I don't know. And if it is, it's not like, it's probably less of an infraction from the casino's perspective, as habitually playing out of turn. Like these guys that like are going out for smokes constantly and just leaving in the middle of the hand when it's not their turn. That really screws up like the action. I bet you the casino takes that more seriously than this type of infraction. So you don't really have much of a recourse in this particular spot. It's horrible etiquette. You are not supposed to say anything. Listen, if I were you, I would always call the floor over. Why not? You got nothing to lose.
Well, that's where things went off the rails even more. So they did call the floor, and the gentleman who showed up, they ended up calling surveillance. So I was stuck there for about 45 minutes because they had to figure out how much money she already had. And during this period, nobody went over to her, pulled her aside, have a conversation with her. And I basically started telling the floor manager that if you don't sanction her for what she did, or have a talk with her, you're basically enabling your poker room for this type of toxicity. For this,
you said it for this type of toxicity.
Yes,
you said that.
I did say that to him, and then his response to me, which completely set me off, was, "If you do that, we're going to strong arm you and cut your action."
What does that mean? You mean like they're going to kick you out of the casino?
I'm assuming that's what he was trying to say.
How fired up were you here, Ali? In real life, were you screaming?
No, I was not screaming. But I was making a point that she should have been sanctioned.
Yeah. Here's one of the other things too. I learned. I mean, I don't know what do you do for a living? I'm
a software engineer.
Okay. So one of the things I learned pretty early on, and this was actually dealing with the World Series of Poker. Funny enough.
Sure.
This has got nothing to do with poker. I used to advertise during the WSOP. The live streams, if anybody remembers, like right in the beginning of Crush Live Poker, like 10 to 15 years ago, something like that. And I had to deal with them one summer where I was paying all this money, but for whatever reason, like the artwork that I was printing out on this gigantic banner that was put on that booth, if anybody remembers where Tuckman, I don't know if they still do it, where where they used to do the live stream for the WSOP, I had a big Crush Live Poker. No, actually it was on the wall. Part of our deal was that they were going to pay for the banner. The printing was going to be local. They're going to pay for it. Well, the printers fucked up the banner. Like, it was barely readable. It was obvious that they fucked it up. It was the WSOP that were the ones that were really responsible delivering the banner, and they just put it up without looking at it. So I was pissed. And I emailed Ty Stewart, who's the head of the WSOP, and I said, and this was my mistake, because my mother was a business manager at a huge law firm.
Yep.
And we formed this unbelievably professional letter about what had happened. And what ended up happening was it basically scared him. It almost sounded like it was a lawyer's letter, like a letter from a law firm. So there wasn't even any negotiation that could happen whatsoever. Where my buddy Tuckman said, you should have just said, hey, let's grab a beer. The reason why I'm bringing that up is that when you start using words like sanction, it's whether it's correct or not, you don't want to go down that formal of a route. So these things are a little bit nuanced, and you almost kind of want to keep it a little bit more casual. So if you use a word like sanction, or you get really, really like very, very sort of rigid and formal in these types of situations, it actually doesn't surprise me if that was their response. I'm not saying that you're at fault.
I agree.
I do tend to think, though, I do tend to think, Ali, that this most likely, unless you think that this other lady had it out for you, it probably was accidental. She's a recreational player, and I would just kind of let it roll off my back. I don't, if I were you, I wouldn't necessarily be looking for this lady to be, as you put it, sanctioned or in trouble, unless you think it was intentional. That's a different story. But I don't know if I would go down this route this hard. It's an unfortunate situation. It sucks for you. That's kind of my take.
Absolutely. And I think maybe looking back at it, sanction was too harsh of a word for me to say. I was just extremely upset and frustrated at the time when I said it. It's been mainly because I had to stay there for 45 extra minutes after what had just happened. So
and you didn't get anything out of it, right?
No, because the surveillance was going through the entire play again.
Well, surveillance. So if surveillance went through it, they said that the hand's retrievable, right? Because it was never mucked.
Yes, they did. Yes, and I ended up paying her, I think, a total of $225 out of my stack.
Well, let me ask you, just to conclude, this antagonist, this other lady, was she apologetic that she said?
No, not at all.
I mean, I can see why that would. So you don't know if it was intentional or not, but like she's just if she had shown some sort of like remorse, maybe you would have felt better about it.
Yes, in fact, they broke the table. She moved to a different table, which was literally adjacent to where I was.
Yeah.
And when I was standing and speaking with the manager, and she could, everybody in poker room could easily hear what I was saying, and she basically yelled out saying that, yeah, he's talking about me.
Yeah.
Without ever apologizing for what she did.
Yeah. Well, unfortunate situation there. Unfortunate situation, Ali. It sounds like she doesn't sound remorseful. I don't know if it was necessarily intentional or not. There's just nothing that you can really do. I think that I would get mad at the room, though, either. Just as a final note, I actually don't think that they can really do anything about it. If I was that floor guy, whoever you were talking to, I wouldn't have worded it in that way back to you. But at the same time, it's not surprising. You don't want to ask the usage of sanction, as simple as I can put it, escalates things. In these types of situations, you try not to escalate. You can escalate up the ladder, talking to more important people, but I'm talking about like sort of the tone of the conversation, escalating the tone to be somewhat combative. I appreciate the call. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.